Hi everyone, it's Jackie again with another journal to share with you. This is my entry for Nick the Booksmith's Classics Challenge, and as you can see I've done The Secret Garden. It's a variation on the Paris book cover course style with my first curved spine, which turned out lovely, and thank you, Nick. And I've used the hollow back binding method, so it does lie nice and flat. I have gone a little bit overboard on the charms on this one, but they're all removable. I am planning to put this into my Etsy shop, so if you're interested, you might want to take a look in a day or two. Okay, so it's chipboard covers, fairly thin chipboard actually in this case, but they're quite solid. And you can see what I've done with the front. There's just some bits of braid, facsimile of one of the vintage covers, some bits of lace. I've used seam binding here to secure it. Seam binding on the top, so there's a fair bit of fluff on the paper clips. And if we go inside, you can see, now I've sort of imagined that this is Mary's journal. So there's a pocket here which I've decorated with lace. So the first couple of pages have got little bits of India. So this is where they lived in India, Mary and her family, Mary Lennox. These, I imagine, are the only photographs she's got of her parents. And this is a little bit of jewellery that she's got left from her mother. So that's all she has. And this is her with her ayah and two other little children and obviously sadly they all perished in the cholera outbreak. I've used tea-dyed papers, ledger papers, book pages related to mainly garden plants. This is my interpretation of Misselthwaite Manor, the house with 100 rooms. And I've got Mary's collected photographs of Dickon, Martha and Ben, who were the people she grew to love once she moved to Misselthwaite Manor. More book pages. I've used or made floating pockets from some of the book pages from a copy of the book that I had. And this is an illustration. This is when she first hears Colin crying. And there's little charms on each of the paper clips. Edith Holden. This was sung to her and does appear in the book, although this version says, "Mistress Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow, with dingle bells and cockle shells and cowslips all in a row?" Which isn't the version I knew as a child, but it's similar. I've used lots of journaling cards, but as you can see there's absolutely stacks of space for writing in this journal. Here we've got a little rose dangle. A couple of tag pages. Tim Holt's card. This is the Dictionary of Gardening book paper. That's the other side of that tag. This is a floating pocket, Mistress Mary quite contrary. This one says, "with silver bells and cockle shells and marigolds all in a row." And there's a little flower charm on that one. This is a little ladybird charm down here. As I say, these, if they irritate you, they will be taken off. I do quite like the way they look. Gardening paper. This is a pretty charm, pretty flower charm. You can see that there. This one is Martha. Edith Holden. I've included the flower fairy, the candy tub fairy. You can't really have a secret garden without a flower fairy in it, I don't think. Can you? No, not really. This is the key to the garden. One of the shorter pages. And this pocket is the key to the garden and the little robin that led Mary to that. Another little rose charm on there. Can you see how this binding makes it lie really nice and flat. I really loved it and the way it turned out. It's not absolutely perfect. My fabric here isn't quite straight, but the pages are straight, so I think it's okay. It will be slightly discounted because for that reason. Okay, nearly at the end. More Edith Holden. This one is Ben Weatherstaff. Another rose. It was the roses that Ben was tending for Mrs. Craven, who died. Here we've got bird charm, a couple of bird charms in this section. And there's Dickon, and this is when the children take Colin into the garden and he starts to recover. Holden. These book pages are from The Meaning of Flowers. So for the musk rose equals charming, rue is disdain, and so on. There's quite a few pages from that book in this journal. More tea dyeing, and that's the end of my journal. I hope you like it. Thanks, Nick, for the challenge. I wish I'd given myself a bit more time to do a bit more to it, but I do quite like the way it's turned out. So thank you for that, and see you all again soon.